Video journal entry 22 June 1st, 2025. Oh man, we're almost at the mid-year. Oh my gosh, time is flying by. Let's see, I'm like so exhausted right now. I was playing why I'm so tired. I've had like a busy weekend. I'll explain later, but let's see. First off, I dropped off Larry earlier this week. Oh man, I was so sad. That was so sad for me. I was like crying so much. Like I did not expect it to be so sad to say goodbye like that. I only had him for like a week, but he was just so sweet. And to be honest, that was like one of the first like pretty hard decisions for me to make because I really wanted to keep him. But I was like, no, man. I was like, no, I shouldn't. But like, I feel like usually when I make decisions, I think about decisions a lot. I think about things a lot. But when I make my decision, I'm good on it and I stand on business behind it and I don't really think about it after that. But like making the decision that like I could not keep Larry was just so sad for me because I was like, oh. And it just made me think of like, why couldn't I have been where I wanted to be, to have the resources to be able to have my cake and eat it too, right? Like the cake and eat it too is to have my little puppy dog and be able to travel and go to these different places, but have the resources where I don't have to worry about all the implications that it entails with having a dog and doing other things I wanted to do. That's how my cake and eat it too. I feel like I've had these experiences more often than not of like having to like wanting to move in a path of like abundance, but like not being able to go past where I am in the moment. Like if that makes sense. Like I know what I want to be able to do in the future. I know how I want to be able to operate in the future. But right now I can't do that no matter how much I want to push. Like I only have so much right now, and like I feel like I've had situations like that, and the situation of like having to drop off Larry was one of those situations, and it made me really sad. But I hope he got adopted. He got adopted really fast too, which I knew he would because he's so sweet. And when I dropped him off, he didn't whine, and like I don't know if he really knew what was going on. Like he's a happy dog. So like when he met the people there, he was happy. They walked him to the back, and he was all good. And I was like, I think he like tried to turn back to see me, but I was like walking out, and I didn't want him to see me, so he would get dressed. But I was so sad. But I think he's gonna be well. I hope he's well. I hope he has a big backyard and a lot of people in the house to play with. Hats off to Larry, but that was very sad for me. On the bright side though, watching Larry and taking care of Larry for the week helped kick off like a bit of a routine for me. And I've mentioned before that like I really want to lock in on like a routine and like an artist routine and just my creative routine. And I feel like I've been a little bit like free balling my days for real, but like having to watch Larry and like having a specific time that I'm waking up to take him out and then bring him back in and take him to walk, that helped get my body into like a schedule. So I like follow that through by like testing a certain routine for myself, and I really appreciated like testing out that routine because it's helping me understand like what works, what doesn't, how my body naturally operates, and what to lean into, and like leaning into like the natural rhythm of my body versus trying to like work against it. Like for example, like I just realized that like I from the hours of like 1 to 5, I'm like in like a real loopy stage. Like I get really tired and like I just can't. I'm in this stage of like tiredness where like I can't do too much. No matter how much I force, like I can't operate the full capacity when I'm in that state. And I've always thought to myself, like, what is wrong with me? Am I not eating enough? And like, why am I so tired? Like, is it the sleep? Like, what can I do to not be so tired? And I realized like maybe it's not really something wrong with me. Maybe it's just how my body operates, you know? Like when I wake up, I have energy, then I hit that slump, and then like by the time I eat dinner, after dinner, I get like my motion again, and like I'm feeling more energized. And I'm like, damn, maybe something's not wrong with me. Maybe that's just how my body functions. I will get checkups just to kind of like see if everything's all right. But I think maybe that's just how my body functions. And rather than trying to work against that, I'll just work with the flow of my body. So like at first I had like my schedule set up for like 7 a.m. I get up, wash up, and then either read or like work on pending projects that I've been working on, and then go for a walk, then come back, eat breakfast, and then get back to like my work, like my corporate work, and then my own work, etc. And then I would like take a break, then have dinner, maybe go for a walk again, and then come back in. But when I realized like how tired I am, like how I really don't have enough time, I realized I had to like rearrange my schedule because like I had a lot of things within that period of like 1 to 5, and I was like, wait, I can't do it. My body just won't let me do it, man. I'm tired and like I'm not in a good state to really like crank out some of the best work. And I feel like maybe it's not like gonna be like that every day, but I think it's a pretty standard thing. So I need to like work around that. I appreciate thinking about how my ways of work, and figuring out what works for me and getting into a flow of things. And I feel like even certain things where I feel like I get a little stressed and nervous about, like for example, I put like in the evening to work on music. I get a little stressed sometimes when I work on music, but I found that like with my schedule, I'm just kind of like naturally falling into it, and like I don't get stressed and I just do my project. I like do my music stuff. Like for example, I'll get into a little bit later, but like I want to work on like my artist rollout, like my music, and like a bit of a debut, if you would say. It's not really an artist debut because I have been like creating with music and I have put out a song before, but like I think it'll be like me coming out to the world in a new sense, a new light. So the way it's a debut and a reintroduction. So I've been thinking about that rollout a lot. So like one of the things that I've worked on is like a cover, and like in the evenings I would just do that, and like it was okay, and like I was able to flow into it because I had this schedule like set out for me, even if it's like not at the exact hours I had planned out, because I planned it out by like hours, etc. Not like every individual hour, like 1 to 10, but like from like let's say from 7 to 10, and then like 12 to this. I planned out like that, and I feel like that's helped me have some type of structure. Even if I don't follow it to a T, it gives me like this baseline to work with. I appreciate that. Let's see. But speaking of which, I mentioned my artist rollout. I've been thinking about that a lot. And I've been kind of like teasing a little bit in like past videos, but I've released like my first thing of the whole grand scheme of things. So I guess I can say it out loud, but like I'm entering my siren era. It's very, I'm not going to spoil all the themes, but like I think femininity, not in the pop culture femininity that we're seeing today. I don't really think I even personally align with that type of femininity that they try to preach, that you have to do this and you have to be pricked out like that. No, not that type of femininity, but maybe in a different spiritualistic realm, I guess. That's one of the themes. Female rage, etc. That's one of the themes. But I have a rollout I've been planning. I've planned like the key deliverables I want to do, and I'm planning key products, music wise, the product deliverables, and I'm thinking about like my marketing strategy, etc. So I've been thinking about that a lot this weekend, and like I said, I just kicked off my first thing, and my first thing was a cover. So I've decided that I want to do a series of 10 songs. I don't know if it'll go past that, but like for now I want it to be 10 songs, and there's meaning behind. There's gonna be a story told between all the songs that I've chosen. And I've released my first cover, and it was Like a Tattoo by Sade. And I think I'll spoil a little bit here. I feel like I do these picture journal entries to myself, but I feel like some of y'all actually come back and watch them, and like I really appreciate that. So like it's to y'all as well. But like I spoiled some of like the set list. So let me go to it actually. Oh my, okay. Some of the set list. So like a Tattoo was the introduction. So the storyline of this like series of covers is like a siren entering reality, right? Going from her world, coming into a new world, which is the world amongst us and amongst humans. And Like a Tattoo was like siren observing the life around her, because Sade, that song was written inspired by her having a story or hearing a story about a veteran when she was somewhere in New York. So like I think that was like a really good starting point of the series. And that's kind of like in a way of Sade kind of hearing this person's story out. She was observing, she was listening, she was experiencing. I feel like it aligned with the story of like the siren entering this new world. She's meeting new people, she's hearing new things, she's learning new things from like the stories that others are telling her. So that's like what the first song of the series meant. And then I'll spoil the next one. I don't know if this list is solidified yet. I think it just about is. I don't have the second song yet, so this might change, but like the next song is going to be Egyptian Song by Rufus and Shaka Khan. And that's kind of like representing this like uncertainty of the new world, because this is like a throwback. I don't think a lot of people know this song. This is Dusty's Shaka Khan and Rufus, so you know it's from like a bit back when. But like the song is like, oh, sweet singing, let me take you back. And she's like, it's a mystery to me. So electric, get affected, those eyes I see. There remains a sparkle. And it's like, this lyrics in the song, like, it's a mystery to me. And she also says something like, how does it go? Something like, eyes I see. This like yearning and this like not being able to fit in. There's a similar lyric to that. That kind of aligns with the next phase of like the story where first Siren is entering this new world. She's hearing things, she's observing things. But then she's a little bit uncertain. She's faced with like certain little difficulties within the day-to-day life. And she doesn't really, she's having some losses within her days, not like real losses, but she's taking some L's in her days. Some things may not go right, and she's probably questioning her decision to like come into this new world. But at the same time, she feels like she belongs in the new world, because like why else would she have this yearning to be there, right? So that's what that second song is. I don't know if Egyptian song is gonna be the second song or the third song. I'm actually still needing one more song, and I'm depending on where I want to put it in a set list. But Egyptian song will be either 3 or 2. One of the two, I don't know. And then it'll be Boy from Ipanema. So that's after she's like kind of getting acclimated into this new realm. She's first been observing the realm, and she's not really been a super active participant. But now she's starting to become a participant when it comes to love, because now she's found an interest to somebody to circle in on, and she has this kind of like yearning, and now she's about to start participating in something that's in this new world, which is love. And Boy from Ipanema is very much like, oh, but you watch it so early. How can I tell him It's very like from the background. Like she doesn't, who knows if she's met this boy from Ipanema yet, you know? So I feel like that sentiment really works in well with like easing into participation of this new realm through love. But she's not actively doing it yet. She's like tipping her toes in. She has an interest that's piqued. Somebody here that's piqued her, and now she wants to see more, etc. And she will be participating a little bit more. So those are my first picks. I ain't gonna spoil too much, you know. I've been like working on that. I have to like practice so many songs. Singing cover songs is really hard for me, because you know how there's hand-eye coordination. I feel like to me there's like ear-mouth coordination, where like I hear one thing, but sometimes it's hard for me to vocalize it. It's harder for me to sing covers than it is to like sing my own songs that I have written, because like in my mind I understand how kind of where I want to get to, even though sometimes I struggle to get to places to get to songs, to sing songs that I've written, because like maybe my agility isn't the best, but like for the most part I can like get by to get where I want to. But like hearing somebody else sing and then trying to sing that, I have to like understand how my vocal mechanisms work to produce somebody else's sound, if that makes sense. And like that can be a little bit of like a tricky thing for me, especially since when it comes to like music and songwriting, since I really had trouble singing other people's songs, for a long time always written songs and like kind of like made my own way with them. So like I said, covers is hard, because like for most of the time I'm always writing my songs and interpreting even the songs that I hear in my own way. Like sometimes I'll be singing like a cover, I'll be singing something and I'll be extending a vowel or something like that, and I'll be singing the note longer than I probably should, longer than it's actually sang in the song, you know? And sometimes you can get by with that, but I think sometimes when you have to be strategic about how you sing a song, because sometimes songs can take more out of you, if you're like overextending a note, that could mess you up in the next phrase, because now you don't even have enough breath to do that next phrase, because you've overextended this note when you should have cut it short here, taken a breath there, etc. So I like practicing things like that, and I think this like cover series will like help me with my vocal agility and just help me get back into my musicality and help me get a bit more into vocal shape, etc. So it'll be fun. And then like the next step will be in kind of like my project, my own personal works and projects. I have one project that I want to drop, and we'll see how that goes. I need to produce it. I've mentioned it before, but like I've written some of the melodies, but I need to like arrange and like produce some of the melodies and like corporations I have, which I'm nervous about, and I've been kind of like, how much have I yapping? Okay, I'm kind of nervous about, because like I don't know, I'm just kind of nervous about it and my abilities to like do well. I try to maybe see if I can find a producer to work with, or see somebody who can like enhance my productions a little bit more. I don't know how that's gonna work. Working with other people's like other artists is hard for me. Not other artists, but like other like producers and just in general, because I work alone. I create alone. So sometimes it can be hard to like find the right people, etc., to feel comfortable with and things like that. But we'll see where that goes and see how that works out. Let's see, what else have I been thinking about this week? But yeah, that's my siren era. I'm very excited for it. I feel like I wrote in my actual physical journal. This is my first time feeling like a lot of clarity about my direction when it comes to like something like music and having a concept that I want to stick to, because I always like to do so many different things and try so many things. I never really wanted to be bogged down by a genre or bogged down by, I don't know if I've said this before. I feel like maybe I've said this out loud sometime before, but like I don't really want to be bogged down by a genre, bogged down by a look. I want to try different things. But I feel like this concept can encompass so many different things. So I'm really excited for it and excited to try it out and see how that goes. Wish me luck, man. Wish me luck. And then on another note, something I was thinking about, I thought about it because of a couple things. So pretty much what I thought about was I was wondering like what I would be like if I wasn't raised with like around scarcity mindset, around discouragement, around anxiety and things like that. And I thought about this because of two things. I thought about it because I'm like trying to start a little garden. I think I mentioned that before. But like some of my plants, I feel like some I should have transferred it to bigger containers. And also recently, since the leaves have grown back, where I usually keep my plants for sunlight is not coming in as much because the tree that's growing its leaves is blocking some of that light. And I think some of my plants are struggling. And it made me think about like the environment that you grow in. And like I've mentioned before, how important environment is to me. But like certain environments will help you flourish and certain don't. And like it applies to humans and me. And I thought about like, so like I had made my first cover, right? And like when I would hear it, I was like, okay, I like this take. It sounds good. But then when I went to post it and I would listen to it again, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. And like I had all these doubts and things like that. And like it makes me think like, why do I have these doubts? I heard somebody say like the mean things, like the bad things you say to yourself aren't you, right? They're what you've probably taken on from outside and from others. And that's what made me think about like, what would it be like? What would it be like if I wasn't raised around like certain things? And it's like at a certain age, it's your responsibility to cope with it. Like regardless of shoulda, woulda, couldas, you have to figure it out. But like sometimes you just can't help but to think like, man, what if I didn't have these extra implications pushed onto me that have shaped my mindset as it is today? Like it made me think, and it just makes me heavy sigh. I don't know if it really makes me sad, but it makes me heavy sigh. Because like, I just want to push forward, you know? And then lastly, I think this is my last yap for the end of this video. I'm tired, y'all. I'm going to lock out early this week. But as I've said, I'm tired because I had a long weekend. And one of the reasons why I'm so tired is because I got a kiln. I got a pottery kiln. I got a kiln. I got a pottery kiln. I got a kiln. I bought a kiln from somebody on a Facebook Marketplace. This is so crazy to me. Like, if you don't know, like a pottery kiln to like fire pottery, it can be like pottery is a cost heavy thing to be doing and endeavor to do, and the kiln is like one of the costliest things of ceramics. And I've been like holding off on like making pieces because like I only have so much space and I don't have anywhere to fire them because I just did not feel like driving 40 some minutes one way with my fragile pieces. So like I just was like, I'm gonna just have to wait till I get a kiln. And I actually didn't know when that day was gonna come, but I saw a kiln on Facebook Marketplace. And I was eyeballing it. I was like looking at the price, and as the weeks went by, and I was like, maybe I can get it down to a price. Maybe he can go down to a price where I can get it. And eventually, it came down to a price where I can get it, and I got it. And I didn't think. First of all, that's one aspect of getting a kiln. Once you get a kiln, you have to make sure it can plug into your house. You have to make sure you have electrical to support the kiln, which at the moment I didn't. So I thought like it was gonna take some time to get that adjustment. Literally next day, which was today, I got the electrical put in. Like my dad's friend, my coworker, he's like a handyman, and he was like, oh yeah, you can do that. It's easy, da 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 da. And he came today and just did it. And I was not expecting things to happen so quickly. So like within like the next week or so, I need to get a pottery shelf so I can fire it. You can't really fire. Since I bought it on Facebook Marketplace, the person didn't have a stand to like for the kiln, and you kind of need a stand or like something to elevate the kiln from the floor because you need space around it because it's a hot thing. You don't want to just on the floor by itself. So like once I get like something to like plop this thing up, I'm gonna be firing pots. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the things I can finally make, because that's been a real bottleneck in my process. Like one of the reasons why I haven't been making this much is because I don't have a lot of space and I couldn't really fire things. But now that I can, low key, it's making me want to quit my job and start making pottery for. But I'm like, I mustn't. No, I mustn't. I'm keeping this. I'm finishing out this contract by fire by force, bro. I'm finishing out this contract and saving up my money so I can have a good nest egg. I don't know what my next test will be. Like I said, 12 months, we gonna see, but I'll have some money put away to at least give me some time to figure myself out and see what would happen. But man, I'm excited. One of my plans is to I'm tired, sorry. One of my plans is like to recoup everything that I've spent on ceramics so far, which is like a good pretty penny, but I think maybe I think I could do it. I think I could do it. I'm gonna find a product that'll work and see what I can do. And I don't know, but I have a kiln. I'm so excited. I got a kiln. I can't believe it's nice too. The bricks at the bottom are crumbling. I may have to replace that. I don't know. Some people, from what I read, like you can like manage and you can like put a pin put a pin to support the elements because of where. I'm talking a lot of terminology here that people might not know. But anywho, so like the elements are like the coils to heat up in a kiln, and like brick help insulate and kind of hold and support those elements. But with that brick crust off at the bottom, there's not as much support, but the elements still seem to hold up fine. So I think you can put a pin. I don't know how that works, but there's a pin that you can like use to support the elements if the bricks are like crumbling. So I'm gonna find that. But other than that, the kiln is nice. Like it looks like relatively new. It has been used some, I think, but it looks like relatively new. It's like a really nice electric kiln. It has a control panel. It's not like an automatic where you have to like put the cone on and wait for anyway, I have a kiln. I'm excited. I need a few other things too. I need to start getting glazes. Money. I gotta spend money again. I really want to find a grant, but you know our government is cutting all types of funds and whatnot. But maybe I can find some type of grant to help me pay for some of these things. But speaking of which, there's a grant I was looking at and it opens today. I need to apply for. Okay, that's it. That's it for this week. That's it for me. I need to hurry up and go lay down. That's it for me. Bye. Oh, my mood. My mood is elevated this week. Hate that it's elevated because of a materialistic thing, but alas, it's elevated this week. If this is the middle line, it's just above the middle line. Larry helped me get past that midpoint. Man, I hope I meet Larry again. I'm so sad that the like program, the foster program that I did it with, you don't really get to be as involved as like in the adoption process, as opposed to I think some other agencies. The fosters do get to like see who's gonna adopt the dog and things like that. I didn't get that chance. It's really sad because if you do have a relationship with the people who adopt the dog, they can like give you updates once in a while to show you how he's doing. And I don't know, but I hope he's doing well because he helped me get my mood above like the middle ground, because I was like slightly below it and he helped me finally lift it up, because as we know, like I've been below it for a while. But that's it for me. Enough of my yapping. See you next week. Bye.